We are rapidly approaching Modern Horizons 3, and given the history of the Horizon sets, coupled with everything that this product has to offer, I think we could be sitting and staring down Magic's greatest release of all time. And I can actually break that down into 3 unique categories. Let's talk about those today. We have had a ton of practice evaluating Magic the Gathering and other trading card game releases here on the channel. Heck, it's one of the things we're most passionate about. It's tracking how regular fans like you and I spend our hard-earned money and how that spend affects the success or, failure of these products and these releases. And when it comes to Modern Horizons 3, there is so much to take in that we had to start early and had to start often. So if you support the channel, you've been around for long enough, you know that all of the information that we collect is put up on cardboardfinance.com. That is supported completely by the channel members of Hometown TCG. You can click the link below and join the channel membership to help support that project and this journey, and I appreciate everybody who does. But more than that, I think it's important to remember that while we evaluate these Magic the Gathering sets, that there are several different factors that go into their success or their failure, and we can kind of break it down into 3 silos. So that's what we want to do today. Looking at Modern Horizons 3, we want to look at the factors of power level, we want to look at price, and we want to look at the product's reach, and not necessarily in that order, but those are the 3 big topics we're going to talk about today when it comes to this next latest and greatest Horizons release, and something that I gotta say we've been excited for some time. And I want to start with power level because spoilers have been the talk of the town early in Modern Horizons 3, and there's a ton to dig into. And when it comes to the power level of this set, it seems pushed. Now, that's not to say that we haven't only seen, the 4 or 5 most powerful cards in the release, but I do think that the power level of Modern Horizons 3 is going to be, well, let's call it up to snuff. But for the first time in a Modern Horizons release, it is not just modern power level we are concerned with. And yes, all the Horizons release cards have been available in Commander, and Commander players have gotten a kick out of playing them. Tons of Modern Horizons 3 cards are present in Commander decks, and it's shown based on the price of all the other Modern Horizons sets, and Modern Horizons 3 going to be no exception there. But now we kind of have different lanes within the power level discussion to discuss some of the releases and how the cards are going to interact. And it's really nice to say, as someone who hasn't been a big fan of Commander being directly inserted in Modern Horizons 3, it's fun to see that, hey, the power level of Modern seems to be being pushed. It's going to help the selling of the set, it's going to help the reception of the set by people like you and I, but I think the Commander level power level is being pushed as well, and maybe even further than the modern power level. We are seeing tons of Commander cards being spoiled or kind of put out into the ether that seemingly change the way a lot of Commanders and their identities are going to have to play the games, and things that players are going to have to play around, so much so that a bunch of the Commander community has actually considered Modern Horizons 3 to be a major release as far as Commander goes, and might push the power level of groups unintentionally just by including a card here and there. So your casual 3, 4, 5 power level group might start to get some juice if we see people adding 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of these cards to their decks or building around a new Commander. But that's important for the release of any Magic the Gathering set. The cards have to be good. They have to be worth playing. They have to have, fun interactions tied to them. Looking at Karlov Manor, the set didn't sell, and it was a mix of, yes, bad theme, new product, maybe a little bit too expensive to what we were looking for, but it also didn't have super powerful cards or super fun to play with cards to drive people like you and I to purchase the product. But more than that, we did outline the fact that, Karlov Manor came out, was a little bit too expensive, and that's a major concern with Modern Horizons 3. The price of Modern Horizons 3 is the talk of the town. It's a big deal, but as things start to normalize, the way too early pre-orders start to come in and things start to maybe have a bit of regression to the mean, we do see that Modern Horizons 3 is not that expensive. Hold on before you go to the comment section and just scream at me. It's not that expensive compared to something like a Modern Horizons 2. And when you compare the Play Booster Box for Modern Horizons 3 to the Set Booster Box in Modern Horizons 2, you actually get a very favorable comparison. Again, we will compare all of those products as the release comes out and prices start to settle, but the way too early release numbers are showing that these products are pretty comparable in price. And furthermore, I have been a fan of the Play Booster Box. I love the versatility of the box. I love the fact that you can use it to crack packs. It's going to support a couple different formats, and as well, you could just pick up the thing and draft it and meet with friends and play Magic the Gathering. That is a big deal in my mind. Take it from me, as someone who's got a ton of sealed products on shelves strewn throughout the hometown TCG studio, I love draft boxes or any box that you can crack open and play for that reason. I think they live better on shelves in the long run, and they're more fun to revisit. So check that off the box for Modern Horizons 3. But it goes even farther than just the Play Booster Box. We're going to save the Collector Booster Box for its own video because I have a feeling that's going to be a very limited and actually collectible and expensive product, so we won't go too much into that here. But the Commander deck set is another flagship and staple product in the release of Modern Horizons 3, and it looks like it's going to be a banger. The Commander deck set is one of the best-selling products so far in the entire release, and the decks, we have no information about this yet, but I believe the decks are going to be very interactive, very powerful, and very fun to play. We see this throughout Magic's history when it comes to tentpole releases, big major Wizards of the Coast products and their subsequent Commander decks. They almost always seem to be bangers. Commander Masters, the only successful product in my opinion out of that entire release was the Commander decks. The rest of it, I believe, was overpriced, too expensive for reprints. I didn't like that there was no accessibility. I've done a ton of videos on the subject. Maybe I'll link one of them right here. But the Commander decks, absolute win. Lord of the Rings, the best-selling set so far, in my opinion, of all time, had a banger set of Commander decks, and I believe Modern Horizons 3 is going to follow this tradition and have very popular Commander releases. The Commander collector decks, a bit out on that one. Within arm's reach at all times in the office here, Warhammer collector decks. These are really fun products. They're very cool for people who are super passionate about them, but a collector deck without the subsequent IP, just to get kind of fancy versions of Commander cards into players' hands in a set where there is a collector box, there's some weird rub there. And we've talked a lot about kind of the Modern lane and the Commander lane here, and that brings us to our final point. It's really, I believe, Modern Horizons 3's biggest point of strength, and if you stuck around this long, make sure you're subscribed as we race to 8,500 subs. Thank you for everyone who's clicking that button, and the 80% of you that aren't, please consider clicking that button. You watch the channel a lot. I think it helps me, it helps you get my videos quicker, and, well, I gotta tell you, I just appreciate it. But the two lanes that are going to come with this product and kind of divide the ability to design cards for Commander and design cards directly for Modern is going to make the set feel like it goes a little bit wider. Now, a bit of a disclaimer here. I am not the biggest fan of including Commander in Modern Horizons 3. Not because it doesn't help Wizards of the Coast, not because people don't play Commander, not because it doesn't sell the product. I'm aware all of those things are true, and the set's going to be better because it has Commander in it. I just like my Modern Horizons sets just to be exactly that, to be kind of an injection of fuel into Modern. I'd prefer almost if Modern Horizons sets didn't exist at all, but since we live in a world where they have to exist and Wizards of the Coast is going to keep doing them, I would like them to remain exactly that. But designing an entire subset for Commander players specifically is going to help. In my opinion, you've got an opportunity here to, instead of trying to placate to the Commander audience and print things that will be fun in Commander and also in Modern, because, spoiler alert, Commander's Wizards of the Coast primary concern, there's a really cool chance to design cards that can exist in the Modern bubble. That means we don't have to design them with Commander in mind. These cards can be just for our Modern format and strengthen our ties into playing Magic the Gathering that way, and all of the ways, one-on-one 60 cards, that those cards are legal. And now the flip side of that is you can design cards specifically for Commander. Maybe you can get a little bit crazier. Maybe you can go outside the box a little bit more and make some extremely fun, interactive, and cool Commander things that you don't have to worry about affecting what the set was printed on paper for, what the declaration set was to be a Modern set. I believe this is going to help the card design in the products and help give players like you and I what we want out of the set more than other sets before it, and I'm actually really excited for it. I want to go on the record. I think Modern Horizons 3 has a chance to be Magic's best-selling set of all time. We will be tracking all of the sales of sealed product on TCG Player to see how it compares to other releases, but I have to say, I do wish the product was cheaper. That is my official stance on this channel. I understand that it's not. I understand that game stores need to make money on the product, and if you've been around here for long enough, you know I think the model is broken. Game stores pay too much for product, and there's not enough money to be made on a box-to-box I guess, sales model when it comes to Magic the Gathering product. That being said, I understand why it's not cheaper. I understand that it's a tentpole release, and Wizards of the Coast is a company, they're going to milk us for everything we got. So I hope you enjoy Modern Horizons 3. There's going to be a ton of content around Modern Horizons 3 and its release right here on the channel, so stick around for that. And if you haven't, share this Hometown TCG video anywhere where you talk Modern Horizons 3, the market, whether the product's going to be good or bad, and the price of Magic products, because it helps the channel grow, and I appreciate seeing that when I scroll through those forums. So thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. All right, goodbye.